This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday boy for today, February the 16th, is a race driver. Now, normally I do F1 or IndyCar racers, but strange as it sounds, I actually I'm deciding to do a motorcycle racer. Well, he is a 9-time world champion. I mean, he's one of the greatest ever, with many in the MotoGP class. So he has 89 victories to his name. He's won world championship for both Honda and Yamaha, so he's known as a double threat. And he rode with the number 46 for his entire career, which MotoGP has retired in his name. I mean, after all, he is a legend. So he has done very well for his life and all that. So anyway, he retired after 2021, and he had been very successful. But the fact of the matter is that Valentino Rossi is a legend, and he's 45 years old today. Valentino was born in Urbino, Italy, and moved to Torella. He was actually a son of a former motorcycle rider, too. But his first love was karting, like a car and all that. Kart. He would race cars and all that. Anyway, but he was pushed towards the 125cc of motorcycle. A former world champion gave him a chance. And didn't do all that well. But he was young. So, well, it was a 14. So, anyway, in 1996, at the age of 17, he was in Grand Prix motorcycle racing. He was consistent and all that. He would win his first ever race at the 125cc in the Czech Republic. His first season, he was ninth with 111 points, which was pretty impressive at his age. And then in his second season, he moved from AGV to Nastro Aspiro. And all that. So he won 11 races in the 97 season, winning the 125cc title at age 18. And then he would move up to 250cc. And had the pinnacle, winning 50 races. He didn't win the world championship, but he took second, just 23 points behind Loris Capirossi. In his second year, he was the sole driver of his team and dominated the season and all that. He would go on to win the championship in 1999. Then he went up to 500cc and joined Honda for 3 seasons. It was huge because 500cc was the highest class in World Championship racing. Once he started out not being in a few events, he crashed out of 2 events, but he would score major points later on. He would win his first race at Donington. He would have a couple of podiums and all that. He ended up taking second place in his rookie season in 500cc, losing to Kenny Roberts for the title. Then he dominated in the second season in the 500cc class, winning 11 races and missing the podium only 3 times. Practically, he got the title, so that was his 3rd overall title. He looked very impressive. But then the 500cc turned into MotoGP, which was about 990 cc's. So that was pretty amazing. The 500cc's were obsolete, so now the cars would be harder to control in a sense. A lot of racers had problems getting used to the new bikes. Rossi would win the first race in wet conditions in Japan, knowing what he could do. He took pole position the first 5 races. Rossi won 8 out of the first 9 races, and practically that gave him the title in a sense, and it did. With 4 races left, he was world champion. He would dominate 2003. Well, and it looked very good for him. Picking up pole positions, winning races in stretches and all that. Anyway, so Rossi clinched his 2nd straight world title with 2 races left, so it looked pretty impressive. So a lot of people were shocked that he would go to Yamaha instead of Ducati. All that. It was a $12 million deal that Honda wasn't willing to pay. So he went to Yamaha, signed a 2-year deal. It was generally huge and all that. So Rossi won the first race of the 2004 season in South Africa and looked pretty dominant and all that. Rossi ended up winning the MotoGP with 304 points, with Gibberto second. He clinched his 3rd MotoGP, 4th top class, and 6th overall championship at the penultimate race, meaning that, well, second last race. In 2005, he was more dominant than the year before. And, huge and all that. Rossi would only miss the podium once in that 2005 season. That was in Japan. He crushed it, beating Marco Maldrini for more than 147 points, scoring 367 points himself. So that was his 4th MotoGP, his 5th top class, and 7th overall championship. He did it with 4 races left. In 2006, a lot of people said he was going to win and all that. Because, well, he looks pretty good. Well, he had a few disappointing races and all that, but then he would win in Italy and Catalonia. So he was making it all that much. Rossi would go into the final race with the lead, not clinching the title as he usually did, but trying to clinch the title. Rossi had to win at Valencia, well, take 1st or 2nd to win the title. He took pole position, and he slid out of contention on lap 5. Rossi shockingly took 13th and did not win the title. He ended up losing by 5 points to Nicky Hayden. It was a disaster that Rossi would fall and all that. So in 2007, he was still one of the favorites. I mean, after all, he has won so many titles and all that. So Rossi tried his best and all that. As Casey Stoner actually dominated, winning 10 races to take the title. Rossi would finish 3rd place in the points race behind Stoner and Danny Pedrosa. In fact, that was the lowest championship position Rossi had in 10 years, which was like shocking. So it was frustrating. A lot of people thought Rossi had seen his better days and all that because, 2 bad years and all that. However, Rossi would win the title at Motegi, and after he wrapped up the title there, he had 3 more podiums, finishing first ahead of Stoner by 93 points. So Rossi got his 100th career win in 2009 in Holland, and he was unassailable. So the final race of the season Rossi didn't need to worry because he won the championship with 306 points ahead of Jorge Alonso by 76 points. Rossi only had 6 wins, which was low for him and all of that. His lowest was 9. But, consistency was what happened and all of that. So, anyway. He did what he could. So Rossi, of course, was one of the favorites for 2010 and took third in the race behind Jorge Alonso and Dani Pedrosa. He did have 10 podiums. So 2011, he decided to join Ducati after bypassing it 7 years prior. Rossi somehow did not do so well. He ended up 7th that season. Casey Stoner was the champion. And he didn't even win a race, which is unusual, very unusual. A lot of people thought that it was the end of it for Rossi and all that. Rossi did better the next season, but he took 6th behind Jorge Alonso. So he decided to leave and go back to Yamaha, resuming his partnership with Jorge Lorenzo, making things interesting. And he did quite well. He would take 4th in the 2013 thing behind Marc Marquez, who was the champion that year. In 2014, he did much better, taking 2nd place in the standings behind Marquez. 2015, he tried. There was a controversial collision with Marquez. Anyway, Rossi took 4th at the final race, but with Jorge Alonso winning, Lorenzo was the world champion and all that. So Rossi would take another 2nd place in 2016, losing to Marquez. He tried his best to do stuff. 2017, he would finish 5th behind Marquez. 2018, he extended with Yamaha and took 3rd in the championship behind Marquez. And for the first time in 6 years, Rossi did not win a race in any season. 2019, he would finish 7th behind Marquez. So in 2020, COVID affected things and all that. He missed a couple of GPs because he tested positive for COVID. Anyway, he tried his best, but didn't do so well that season. Then he would go to Petronas Yamaha for 2021 and decided to retire from MotoGP after the 2021 season. Lots of drivers congratulated him for his career and all that. And at the Italian Motorcycle Grand Prix, his number 46 was retired, which was the first time he would do that. He decided to change his position and do sports car racing and all that. He even competed in the Road to Le Mans and all that. So, yeah, he had a lot of rivalries. Well, the early ones were with Caparisi, Biaggi, and Gibero. And then in the late 2000s, early 2010s, it was Casey Stoner and his teammate Jorge Alonso. And then Marc Marquez was his last great rival. He had a lot of great moments and all that. He did test a few F1 cars way back when, but he didn't get a chance to do it, which would have been nice. He owns a racing team, did some collaboration and all that. He had a lot of pre-ride rituals. On a race day, he will always watch the beginning of the Moto3 race to see how long the starting lights remain lit before going out to start the race. Prior to riding, he has a ritual by stopping about 2 meters from his bike, bending over and reaching for his boots. And all that. He would talk to his bike and all that. So anyway, he's a practicing Catholic and has a partner and a daughter. So just one child. A lot of reporting. There was a tax avoidance case against him, saying that he was suspected for tax evasion in 2007. And they investigated Rossi for having undeclared revenues of over 160 million bucks between 2000 and 2004. And his London residency enabled them to take advantage of favorable tax conditions and all that. But in 2008, he did announce he actually settled with the tax authorities for 35 million euros to close the tax case. He had a video game named after him for Windows, PS4, and Xbox One called Valentino Rossi the Game. So yeah, what a great career he had, winning all those world championships while winning 7 MotoGP titles: 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 08, and 09. Despite the fact that he never won a title in the 2010s, he still was consistent. And consistency is great if you can play your cards right. Anyhow, I'm Jeff Diamond Ado.